add a texture or an image to your body, or really any model that you've made. So here, what I want to do, you can see I've already added one onto the body of this character, but I'm going to add something on the head. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I want to select my model. I'm going to go over to channel, and I might retitle this if I can. I've already retitled this one to head, just so you kind of know where you are, what you're working with. The next thing you're going to want to do then is you're going to want to go to UV and UV editor. Here, this is going to pop up whatever selection you have in this kind of laid out method where you can kind of see this entire thing but flat, your entire model or whatever selected flat. From here, we want to take this out and be able to pull this into Photoshop. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to Image and UV Snapshot. Now for this, I'm just going to leave all the settings alone, but the file name, I'm just going to change where I want to save it. So I'm going to save it to my desktop and title it something. So I'm going to hit Save and hit Apply and Close. That'll close that window. At this point, you don't really need this window any longer, so I'm just going to close that out as well. I'm going to minimize Maya. Now, I want to find that file. So this is it right here. It's an IFF file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and drop that directly into Photoshop. Now, just so you kind of see what this is, you don't need to make another layer. I'm going to make another layer, and I'm going to move that layer below, and I'm just going to paint fill that background white. I'm going to eventually turn that off, but just so you can kind of see what you're looking at. Now, this is your model. So when you're looking at that, and if we compare it to Maya, these like 8 strips here are actually a representation of these, but you can see that they appear much thinner, so you want to kind of think about that. If you were trying to put something on the front of the face here, you would only want to fill, 2 of those strips. So when I do that, I might Spider-Man face flat. Let's see if we can find that. Okay, this actually looks pretty good right here. Now I could draw this. I can make this myself. For today's demo, I'm just going to be a little bit quick about it, but you could draw and paint into that. Okay, so I'm going to bring that image in. I just dropped it directly in. If you if you brought it from your desktop, you could right-click and rasterize the image. From here, what I'm going to do is just blow this up a little bit. And again, I feel like this should fit into about 2 of those, so it's a little bit big, so I'm actually going to shrink this thing down and stretch it. And we'll see, like I can always go back and change it. I can always make changes on the actual thing. Oop, there we go. I'm going to see what that looks like. And then what else do I want to do? I think this is going to be a little bit low on there, but we're going to make it work. Okay, and then I'm just going to real quick grab a color that's kind of similar to what I'm seeing on the Spider-Man, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint. I'm going to go on the same layer here into these circles, kind of color match it a little bit. I don't like that first one because it interacted up at the top there a little bit too much. Like that, and then like that. And I can be very precise. Again, for the demo's purposes here, I'm just kind of being a little bit quick about it. What I want to do next is I want to file, save this as, but I want to first turn off anything I don't want. So I don't want the blueprint. I don't want my white background. I just want the information that's going to go on to Spider-Man's face. I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to save this as a PNG file. Where? I'm going to save it to my documents, go into Maya, Projects, just keep going until you see the multiple files, and I'm going to save this in Source Images, and I'm going to change this to a PNG. Hit Save, hit OK. From here, we are good in Photoshop, and what I'm going to do next is come back in, and we're going to go, and I'm just going to make sure my head is selected, and I'm going to right click it and hold. I'm going to go down to Assign New Material. There we're going to have this pop-up window, which what do we want to assign it? We want to assign it a blend. So I'm going to look for my blend. There it is right here. So I'm going to double click or click and blend. Now if this doesn't pop up, this is your attribute editor. Then you're going to have to go to channel box and you have to select it, or up here you're going to see there's a bunch of stuff. You want to look for blend 4. I might even title this like Spidey face, just to kind of, keep it clear what's going on here. All right, so there we go. You can see like that. Now it'll be all the way to the right on this little toggle thing. A lot of different things open up there, but there's sweaty face. Now what I'm gonna do next is go to color. I'm gonna click on this little checkerboard square to the right of color, and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna say I want a file. So this is gonna switch to this image. If that didn't happen, you might be in this view. So there's 2 tabs up there, place 2D texture. We want to be in file 3. I'm gonna click on the folder and I'm gonna go get that thing. So again, go to documents, go to your Maya folder, projects, default, and source images. And let's see, I have a couple in here. There we go. We'll see how that one looks. Hit open, and you're going to see it's going to appear right away. And now you can change some of these settings. That's more in here. I'm not really going to talk about that. But you can see if you did it right, it should have filled pretty well. And this looks pretty good. Obviously, the colors are off because I did a different Spider-Man image. But overall, pretty good. Now, obviously, he's not facing the way we want. So an easy fix for that is click on the face, get your rotate tool, and then you can just rotate the face. Some of the others, you need to be kind of just thinking about where you're placing stuff. So obviously, this is a little bit off, but you could go back into Photoshop and try to fix that up. From here, you just want to save. And the next time I'll show you how to kind of export these things as files from Mixamo.